Hello, my friend. Good
Okay.
morning. Good
Good
morning. Are you
morning.
listening to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Maybe I will go uh, to end our meet uh, for almost seconds because I
Mm-hmm.
have to to call with to como é que eu falo? Atender uma chamada.
To answer a call,
Answer a call very important for me because I depend this call for travel or no. Okay.
oh, okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. How are you today, my friend? Are you fine? As always.
I'm very good. No, very good. Very good.
That's amazing. Uh, in our last class, Flavio, we discussed a little about some how to use present perfect. Yes,
Sure.
and how to understand the sentence, the present perfect sentence as simple present or simple past, because sometimes they are going to have different
Confusion.
meanings.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's complicated. So in general, Zefra, when they are using some time expression, we are talking about present. For
Okay.
example, things that started in the past and continue in the present. Normally, we are going to use accompanying words like for or since. Yes, normally
Hmm.
when you're mentioning to present. So I'm gonna say some things like this: I'm married to Val since 2017. That's one possibility. And the other possibility is I'm married to Val. I say,
For 3 years.
I'm sorry. I've been married to Val for 3 years and a half, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one, for example, this first sentence say, I am married to Val since 2017. It's okay when you're speaking, but grammatically, it's not correct. The correct one would be, I've been married to Val since 2017. So in the first one, it's okay to use, okay? José Flávio. For example, I'm a police officer since 1999. When you're speaking, when you're talking, it's okay. It's acceptable, right?
Hmm.
In a very informal way. But the better situation involves to use I've been a cop since 1999. Okay?
Teacher. So always I use since I will go to use present perfect.
Not always, but
Always.
it's better. Yes, it's much
Okay.
better. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's the best
Hmm.
situation. People are going to understand, especially when we are people, foreign people. For example, we are Brazilian, and then
Hmm.
we are in the country, in England, in the USA. So if you can use present perfect, it's easier for them to understand because in Portuguese we don't have this tense, you know, and in this case it's different. But anyways, that's
Okay.
what the example I mentioned to say uh, for simple present. In your case, for example, Zafab, that you have a son, so you can say, I have a son, and I'm going to understand this as a fact about your life. Yeah. But it's also
Hmm.
possible to say that I've got a son. They have the same idea.
Yeah.
Okay. They have
Hmm.
the same idea. So what's the difference? The second one, okay, go
Eu
ahead.
vou ter que atender. Desculpa, professor. É
No
porque é muito importante.
problem. No problem.
O áudio aqui. Ligar, desculpa.
No problem. No problem. I stopped recording. No
Yes.
problem.
My X9 called me that my como é que eu falaria? The 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 people that I search, mas eu queria falar meu alvo.
My target.
My
Target.
Yes. Você já tinha me falado isso.
No
My
problem.
target, eu vou associar com aquele supermercado que eu não esqueço mais. My target, e tem um alvo, né, no símbolo do supermercado. My target is working this moment in Piracanjuba. And the X9 called me in 5 or 10 minutes. So if you correct, I will go to Piracanjuba and have the man.
Okay. You know how to say the X9? You can say my source.
My search?
My source. In the idea of my fonte. Minha fonte.
Yeah,
you know, it's very used, especially for police and for journalists like you and Marcus. For example, both of you have your sources. Yes,
Yeah, we have
in the companies. Yeah, they say.
Marcus.
Marcus just arrived. I was talking here, Marcus, that in some cases, in cases of investigation, journalists and police officers, they use the same name to the person who gives information. Say my source, you know. So you have the source, the person who is responsible to pass you information, and usually hidden, hidden information. Good morning, Marcus. How are you doing?
I'm good. And you guys? How are you doing?
We're great, as always.
Nice.
Especially in these 2 last days, yes, that we woke up. We woke up in a very nice weather. It was not hot like a hell, so
thank God.
Much better, Of course, we are privileged for many reasons. One of them is that because in our houses, in our apartments, it's hot, but we always have a fan, an air conditioner to help us, so it's not a big problem, right? But this weather now, it's amazing, yes? Especially because in the other day, yes, not last night, but the day before last night, the night before last night, that it rained, yes? And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Everything is over. Okay. So, Marcus, tell me, my friend, how was your day yesterday? What did you do?
Work. There's no much to add on that,
Obviously,
work.
we are keep working, yes. But our September is almost finishing, yes. Like today's
the year of September, right?
Yeah, say today is like September 23rd. So 7 days to go. 1 week. 1 week to finish September, and then we are in the last part of the year, yes, because we just have October, November, and I don't know if you can consider December, because December is like a holiday in Brazil, yes. We do things, of course not for everybody, yes, especially for your both professions that you work all the time. But talking, for example, about schools, of course, 2020, it was a very atypical year that schools are closed since March, So we have like more than 6 months now completed. Yeah, more than 6 months with schools closed. And that's crazy. That's really crazy. And December, it's going to be like a December, a normal one. Of course, it's going to be very different, the Christmas, yes, because I think we are not going to have that big parties, you
Yeah.
know, with 500 people. Yes, Stefan, you want to say
I,
something?
I I don't know if it's good or no.
Hmm.
The end of the year. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what is my hope? My hope is that in the end of the year or in the next year, in the beginning of next year, we get some solution for this virus.
Yeah.
Maybe a vaccine or a more effective uh, medicine. I don't know, because so far what we have are speculations. Yes, it worked for me, but it didn't work for my friend. So I hope I read that the Russian vaccine was very efficient in 93% of the cases, but in 7% of the cases, the vaccine was not able to produce immunity to the people. You know, for example,
Hmm.
7% of people who took the vaccine, they are not immunized. So probably they can contract the virus. And that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
so crazy. But well, problems that it's up to the science, not
Yeah.
to an English teacher. Yes, so I just can read about that. What is nice? The good part of that is because people are trying. Yeah, and the terrible part is because we are going to continue with this terrible sensation. Yeah,
Yeah.
for example, Marcus, you already got the COVID, yes,
Yeah.
but Jose Flavio and I, we didn't. So we are like this. Say it's we have the risk.
Yeah. But
We still have the risk.
we have some researches in Hong Kong, for example. I was reading that on a few weeks ago that points to the possibility to got reinfected. So in 3 or 4 months. So I'm not
You're not safe.
either.
You're not safe because of the virus mutation. Yes, this is
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
natural and expected. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
especially this species, this I don't know. It's not possible to call animals, but these beings, they with a very short cycle of life. So their mutation happens
yeah,
like that, because they just live for hours. So in these cases,
yeah.
maybe days. Yes, I think they can.
I
This
know, I
virus
know that,
survive days.
I know that my wife is she has immunity for
Hmm.
now because she got tested, but I don't. I
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
so crazy.
I
That's
didn't
so
test.
crazy. I have a cousin of mine that his wife is immune now because she got the COVID, and he
Mhm.
got the COVID, but he's not immune.
Yeah,
That's so crazy. So
yeah,
anytime he can get again.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
horrible. That's
absolutely
horrible.
crazy,
You know
but
that, José Flavio? Not
Yeah.
everybody who gets COVID gets immune. Some
Yes.
some people can reinfect, and that's
Yes.
so crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy,
In
crazy.
how time we got uh, had have COVID again.
Well, as Marcus said, according to Hong Kong's researches, in 4 months, something like that, is it 4 months, because of the mutation. You know that the virus is changing, so his own mutation changes. And for example, a person that got the first COVID, for example, in February, the COVID who is circling now is different, you
Yeah.
know, because the virus change it from person to person and etc. But
Yeah.
today I don't want to talk about COVID. I don't want to talk about bad news. Today is Wednesday. I think we have to focus our ideas in the good part of our lives. You know. So what are the good parts of our lives? Family, our job, things we like to do, and Marcus, what are you doing in your free time in this period when you are not working? What are you usually doing?
Sleeping.
All right, that's great. That's
I
great.
mean,
Yes.
I'm just sleeping when I'm not working. I'm sleeping. You know, in these past 3 days, especially, I'm doing that. I don't know if it's because of the weather or because I'm really tired. Last week I worked a lot in crazy times, but in since Saturday when I'm not working, I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I've been doing this, especially because I work in very crazy periods, you know. For
Yeah.
example, my first class is now 8 a.m., but the last one is just 10 p.m. So uh, when I arrive home, I just take a shower and I go to bed. I chat a little with my wife. We have some conversation about life, about things, you know.
And that's
Sometimes
it.
we gossip about other people, uh, but and then I go to bed and
Yeah.
I just sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing, and I
I'm
don't
doing that.
complain. I think it's okay. I
Yes,
like my
yes,
routine. For
yes.
example, the periods when I am working right now, they are pretty good to me. So I am a happy man.
Yeah.
Although we are in a very sad moment. Yes, this
Yeah.
COVID thing broke my legs. You know,
Yeah.
I sometimes I just want to go out. You know, I want to go shopping. I want not buying stuff, but I walk around. You know,
Mhm.
just to have contact with people. I love talking to people, and now we
Yeah.
just can do like that. Yesterday I took an Uber after after 1 year. After
Really?
1 year, I took an Uber yesterday. Yeah, because I had to let my car in the concessionária, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had
my
to do
car
that.
my car was with a very strange noises, and then I said, well, my car is in the guarantee. So I'm going to check what is going on, yes. So I went there and I left my car because it was with these noises. The people there, they did the diagnosis, and the diagnosis said that I was all right. I was right. Say, indeed, my car is doing strange noises. So they got my car to fix this.
Yeah.
And then they call me and say, Vilmar, your car is not going to be ready today, just tomorrow. So I said, okay, so I'm gonna home. I'm go home because I have to work and etc. And so I took an Uber, and it was a very nice experience because this Uber, specifically this one, he had like a protection, an acrylic protection in the car.
Like a taxi cab? Really?
Yeah, I say it was amazing. I say it was a protection with an acrylic.
You
Of
be
course, it
in
was
Nova York.
possible. Yes, like a cat, like Marco said. And then we could talk. It was possible to listen to each other, but we got this protection. And I thought,
Nice.
wow, that
Nice.
was very nice. And in the car, it has alcohol for you to clean your hands. And I
Mm.
thought, wow, things are changing, yes. So I saw this reality in the Uber, and I thought it was pretty nice. I say because because it's very crazy. Yes, I I I I I don't like. I didn't like the idea of get the Uber, but it was necessary. And when I got into the car, I say, okay, that's better than I expected, you know. But it's crazy. It's really crazy, you know. When you get when you go to the places everywhere, people wearing masks, and it's so crazy. But
Yeah.
it's necessary, as we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what we can do. The only thing we can do is try to protect ourselves, especially because we cannot keep closed at home anymore. Yeah. We have to go back to work. People are going back to their routine. For example, my wife, she went back to his job, and she works in a clinic. Marcus, your wife works in a hospital, yes? That's
2 hospitals.
that's crazy. So they are in the risk zone, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a matter of time that I get infected. This is clear in my head, you know. Although my wife is, she's very careful. She tries to protect herself, wearing masks, using the alcohol, but that's not enough, you know. But we have to try to protect ourselves as hard as we can. And you, José Flávio, when you are not working, what are you doing?
Hmm. I I love take care of my son. I love to stay in my home, stay home. Uh, I love play tennis. I know my
I
son
heard
talked.
that.
I heard it. I heard
Ah,
it.
cuidado com sua vida, menino.
He's also
He's
a
also
big
like to
fan
play
of,
tennis.
yes, he's also a big fan of tennis.
When
Nice.
when my
Like father, like
son,
son.
yes, yes, yes. No, I prefer no, but just
Okay.
tennis, just
Just
tennis.
in the tennis. Yes. I'm talking about the
Uh,
tennis.
yeah,
Not in this stuff of being police.
just tennis.
Yes.
uh, when my son talked with my wife, uh, I stay boiando, como eu falo, I stay
Floating.
flu. Yes, I stay fluent because they speak English real well.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I could hurt.
I always talked for her for 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 them that one day I will go to fluently in English and I will go to understand what they they are speaking. Né, filho?
Yeah. Yeah. One. It's it's going to be. Don't worry. It's in a matter of time. It's in a few time you are going to get, and you're going to get them,
Amen.
and then you are going to surprise them and say when they are starting
Amen.
talking and say, "Ha! So you're talking about me?" You know.
I receive.
And this is a Fabio is a very funny man. It's, I received it's amazing. Yes, it's like the expression we use here in Brazil, like say I received this
Receive.
blast. Yes,
Uh,
right, amazing guys. Yesterday I was talking to my mother, I think, in a video call, and we were talking about that because my mother she's the one who forced me to speak in English. You know, she is an English teacher, and then uh, she told me like that. The only thing I regret, the only thing I regret in your sister in your razors, you know, when you grew up, it was not insisted for you to be sportive people because she didn't. She forced us to study English and to study in general. Yes, she always incentivized. My mother always incentivized us to read, so it was something that in my opinion, it was really important
But, yeah.
because and we also read, we also had the example. My mother read every day at night, you know, when she was lying on the bed, she was reading something or a magazine or a book. And my father, he always read too, you know. So we got this example from our parents. But the sporty things in my house, we never did, you know. I say, Marcus, how is in your house? People are focused in the sport?
And my father used to play football when I was young, and he tried to got me into that too. But and I really tried, you know. But I'm suck in every collective sports, you know. So I gave up really early. I gave up. I said to him, "Man, I'm sorry, but it's not for me," you know. I'm stay here in my room reading and studying. That's my thing. So you can play, go ahead, and that's it.
Yeah, you say it was not something that you very into, yes?
No, definitely not. I have not enough coordination in my body to do that, you know.
To run and to kick a ball, yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, come on.
In the
And
same time, impossible.
yeah, and I have a sight disease very early. So when I
Uh,
was, I don't know, 13 years old, I had to use glasses because I didn't see and in the much far away, you know. In the most of the time, no. In the main reason, it's because of I study a lot, I read a lot, so the doctor said that maybe because of that, and because my father and my mother also have vision disease, so it's hereditary.
mhm.
And then I was I didn't see the ball, you know, the people. So it's was impossible to me to play football, and I really didn't like actually. So
There was no reason for doing that, yes.
yeah, but I really like to swim, as I said here. And when I started to swim, to do swim lessons, I really got into that. But it's not a thing that you can do anytime, you know, unless you have a pool in your house. It's was not my case. So I did that, and I did like to ride a bike. I really liked that, but I never did that as a sport. I did that as a transportation
Yeah,
technique.
necessity. Yes, I know.
So, yeah, that's it.
I totally get it. And you, Zé Flavio, you are a sportive man. Yes, you play tennis every week, twice a week, right?
Yes. In this time, I have I try practicing more sports. I always like to practice sports, uh, but my parents don't have didn't have time for fun. Just working all the time. My we lived far away, and my parents don't didn't have a car, So my parents didn't have for fun, just working. But in my church have many sports, and we still in church all the time. So I I learn to like play volleyball, play football, play tennis mesa, tennis table, não sei,
Table tennis.
table tennis, bet, uh,
Oh,
any sports.
I remember to play badge. Good times.
Yes, yes.
I loved to play badge.
In our church, uh, always almost every day had uh, anyone play any sports. So I learned to like uh, very much. But my parents know. My parents,
All right.
my
Do you
parents
know?
work all the time.
I understand. Do you know that the verb to learn, it has two different forms of past. To learn is a regular verb, so you can say learned. It's correct to say I learned, but it's also a irregular verb, and they say learned. Both are correct. Uh, mainly, learned is used in England and learned in the US. But you can use both. Both are correct. Okay?
Nice.
When you're talking. Yeah. I like that all the verbs were like that. But some verbs get very strange. For example, if you just use ed, for example, go, you say go it. Say it's crazy. It's not a good idea. Say no, I
Yeah.
gold. It's like gold. Like
In Australia.
I think it's the same of England.
Nice.
Australia English, it's similar to European. Although they have lots of influence of Aborigine people, so they have lots of words that are from origin in Indian origin. Say not Indian, native origin, like we have here in Brazil. Yes,
Yeah.
some of our vocabulary came from native people, from Tupi, from Guarani. They also have the same relation with the Aborigines from Australia. So naturally, José Flávio, the Australia English is similar to England. The United States, they have a very particular English, you know, just to give you the same panoramic. For example, if you take all the countries that speak Portuguese in the world, Portugal, Brazil, Angola, Cabo Verde, and there is one
Timor-Leste.
more, Timor-Leste,
Timor-Leste.
yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the five one. Uh, if you pay attention, just Brazil is very different. You say Angola speaks very similar to Portugal.
Yeah.
Cabo Verde speaks very similar to Portugal. And Timor-Leste, because
It's similar to Brazil.
it's a very small country, and there are lots of Brazilian people living there. I
Yeah.
remember in 2010, I think, 2009, my mother received a proposal to work in Timor-Leste
Yeah.
as a translator, to teach English for the people there. And I
English.
remember,
Really?
hmm?
English.
Yes, to teach English for the people.
Because
And
I remember that at the same time, at this time, in 2010, 2011, Timor-Leste bought no, they contract, they have contract many Portuguese
Portuguese
teachers
teachers, yes,
to teach people there to how to speak Brazilian Portuguese. You know,
exactly, exactly
they
that.
wanted that.
So, but as for example, the people, my mother, for example, as she was graduated in English and Portuguese, probably she would work with both languages.
All right, all right.
Yeah, and I remember that on that time, guys, it was a huge salary. In 2010, I think it was like $6,000 that Timor-Leste was paying. You know, $6,000. And I remember that my parents, they discussed it a lot. My mother just didn't accept because she's a public server here, you know, and she got two contracts in two schools here in Goiânia.
All right.
So her salary on that time, remember, we're talking about 2010, and the dollar was like R$ 2, R$ 2.34. So on that time, my mother's salary was a little bit less, you know, like it was not $6,000, but it was like $5,000 on that time if you make the conversion. So she decided that it was not a good idea. For example, change the country, leave the family, and it was for a period just. I think it was 2 years, the contract. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly the details, but I think that it was temporary. You know, so my father, my parents, they discussed it a lot, and on that time, it was not so advantaged, like for example today would be. Yeah. For example, if someone invites me to go to Timor-Leste for a $6,000 salary, you don't have even to ask me. Yeah, you don't have even to ask me. I
I'm
say when
there.
I start tomorrow. Do I start tomorrow? Because it's possible for me, you know. Guys, when you're talking about today, talking about $6,000, we're talking about 30,000 reals.
Yeah.
It's almost a popular car every month. So it was a huge salary. So
Yeah.
for example, if it was on this period, probably I would accept, and I would recommend my mother to ask to also accept. Say, Mom,
Yeah.
you just have to go because this is like the opportunity falling from the sky, you know. But on that time, it was not like that. You know, the dollar always was very valorized, but it was not like R$ 3. It was less than R$ 3. So on that time, it was not a good idea. But it would be nice if you
Yeah.
imagine. For example, if you bought, who bought dollars like last year, almost double the money. Yeah, for example, if you took yesterday, the dollar closed at 543, 543. So in the same period last year, it was like 390, almost four. But now you're talking about here one more than almost R$ 2 of
Yeah.
difference. So it would be very advantage. That's something that I like to do, to earning dollar.
And there the cost life is hard or is
No, it's not.
expensive?
Indeed, José Flávio. Just for you to understand how good was the proposal, it was the salary, and you have place to stay, and you have the food. Okay, so you don't have to buy these things.
Mm-hmm.
The Timor-Leste government, they had everything planned, a place for you to stay and a place for you to eat, you know, 3 times a day. So it was like the money, like a free money for you. Of course, you should pay the taxes for the country, you know, like we have here the income taxes. You know, this income tax is like in Portuguese I forgot the name. Imposto de renda. Income taxes. So probably you have to pay the income taxes, and you probably have to pay the income taxes to Brazil too. Okay, that is 30%. Oh my God, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about a $30,000, 30,000 reais, it's 10,000 reais that you have to pay in taxes. That's absurd. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Brazil is crazy. Yes, guys, it's crazy.
Yeah.
For example, my company, this is cool.
Bring
here.
it on the air.
Yeah, this school here that I have, without doing anything, with no working, no earning money, I have to pay 19%.
What?
19% of taxes that I pay as a school. You know, everything. For example, every time, José Flávio, you pay to study here, or Marcos pay to study here, they make my, how to say, my incoming money, in the end of the year I have to pay 19% as taxes. For example, let's imagine if I earned 10,000 reais, I have to pay this 1,090. It's okay, but I also have the other taxes. I have to pay. Yeah, I'm talking just about one tax, just for existing. Oh, for your company to exist, you have to pay 19%, and that's it. You see, the government takes for all the money I get.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. In general, yes. For every student I get, it's the same situation, right? But it's horrible. I wouldn't say it's unfair. I think it's okay. It would be okay if we didn't have other taxes. For example, José Flávio, can you imagine your life that you just pay the income taxes? For example, it would be marvelous. Doesn't matter if you're talking,
amazing.
It's 27%, teacher. I know, it's very big, you know, it's huge. But if it was just this, for example, you don't have to pay PVA, you don't have to pay IPI, you don't have to pay ICMS, you don't have to pay anything. It would be amazing. So take it, my 27%. I have no problems with that. But the problem is, we pay the 27% from income taxes, and then every year you buy your car. When you buy your car, you pay the IPI, you pay the ICMS, and every year you pay the IPVA. Every year. That's so crazy. You buy a house, every year you pay IPTU. You know, so everything you have, when you buy a cell phone, more than 50, sometimes 60% of the price you pay, it's in taxes.
I think should the people like to live in abroad, because there you pay one time, you pay expensive, but you pay one time or half ou metade.
Half.
There is different. Abroad is different.
Yes, of course. No.
We don't have rest 13 salary, but in general it's better. It's better because if you do account, there is better. I think.
Of course. We wouldn't need, for example, I'm talking about you, Mark. I wouldn't need to have an extra money, for example, 13º, férias, if we didn't have to pay so many taxes. Because think, oh, you have to pay when you buy your car, IPVA, and then you have to pay the insurance, you have to pay everything, a lot of money that you spend during the day wouldn't be necessary. Think about it. Would you rather prefer to have a 13º or not having the taxes in your salary?
Not having the tax.
For example, if you take off the
In my car,
taxes, you're going to get much more money than a salary, you know? Because probably your salary you recover in 3 months, yes,
Mhm.
of paying taxes. And then, for example, the year we have 12, so you're going to double for 4, yes, to multiple for 4. So that's much more money. And I don't know. Of
Yeah.
course, Brazil, we have some problems. We have many problems here. It's difficult, but it's okay. Unfortunately, we cannot say that's good because nobody likes to be robbed like that, you know. But I don't know exactly what to do. You know, I don't have even a suggestion. Do you have, Marcus, a suggestion?
And people have to do the reform, right? But it's hopeless, I think, because
The reforms just get better to the rich people.
yeah, no, not because of that. The system, the way the that the system was built, it's really hard to change. You know, you had to the government has to change almost everything to really made some change in the way that we pay taxes. You know, so it's almost impossible. I think we had to start from the scratch. You know, to do that, and you know that in the government and systems and laws and constitution, so everything would be changed, and any government could be able to do that, you know, because of many reasons.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
unless that they would make this making these reforms in a very long time, you know, bit by bit. Uh, but it would be necessary a really smart uh, politics to do that. And I'm not talking about just party politics, public politics, you know, would be necessary a really hard effort to do that. And we know that in a country like Brazil that we have a lot of social problems and a lot of pressure by the elites. We know that it's not possible. It's hopeless. So I don't even think about that really.
Yeah, no, that sucks because as you mentioned, yes, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Our structure it's created for maintain the
Yes.
privileges for the people who make the laws, yes,
Yeah.
and all the things they do. It's regarding to get their lives easier,
Yeah.
to get their easy lives easier, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, Stefan, don't worry, my friend.
Bye.
Goodbye, my friend. Have a nice time. Don't worry, don't worry. See you tomorrow. Marcus, in these last 20 minutes that we have here, we can talk about whatever we want. I was just finishing the thought about these incoming things. Let me see. Would you ever think, for example, to work abroad?
Yeah, I think about that, but my main plan is to study abroad. You know, I think about that more.
That
But
that that would be your let's say your first aim.
yeah, yeah. But it's not a thing that I discard. You know, to
It's not something that you drop,
yes, yeah, it's not a thing that I drop to work abroad. So, but it's not the main plan.
but would be okay if you have a chance.
Yes, yes, obviously.
For example, can you imagine like you being like an international correspondent or something like that, or it's not something that you think about?
Yes, I think would be awesome actually. But today, as a regional reporter, it's not a thing that it's palpable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Or
not
touchable.
in yes, it's not in a reality
Mm-hmm.
because we do here in a popular a local cover, you know, of the news. So it's not doesn't make any sense to send a reporter abroad
Mm-hmm.
unless I work in a national newspaper. So that's what would be would be possible, but it's not the case. But I think that would be really awesome to work in an international covering, you know, about the news. I think that.
All right. Well, yes. I I've always think about how would be living abroad, say to experience this different atmosphere, this
Yeah,
different
yeah.
culture.
I
It's
have
some
I have
Go
a
ahead.
couple friends that lived in Australia for eight months to study English. You know, this friend of mine is one of my best friends, and I was talking about that with him last week, and he live in Brasilia now, and he was telling me that it's really hard was really hard to get back, you know, to Brazil because of many things. He liked a lot to live in Australia, and he tried to stay there, but was not a easy task, you know.
Yeah, because he had the student visa. Yes.
Yes, yes, and not just because of that. The living costs there it's really high, so we have to
Get a job there. Yes.
earn a lot of money, and it's unless for him it's easy because he works with technology and information, you know, information technology, computer and programming, that's that kind of stuff. So for him it's awesome. It's he will ever be able to get a job.
And
But
work remotely sometimes. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. But his wife is a public is in a public service here in Brazil, so
Um,
she got back because of that, and he came too. So But I
But
think about,
maybe when she's retired, yes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But he's not actually. Uh, just a moment here, please.
Don't worry.
She he's not dropping the idea to live in there or something else in somewhere else in nearly future, you know. But for now, he's staying in Brazil
All
with his
right.
wife and
Yeah, I was thinking. I've been thinking about these kind of things, you know, how would be, especially in this period, we don't know how it's going to be next year, for example. We have plans of going back to physical classes, you know, to reopen the school, but we don't know exactly if it's going to be a reality. Yeah, we expect it is, but we are not pretty sure about how it's going to be. So I'm going to continue with this remote classes, you know, online
Mhm,
stuffs. And now we are starting to get some classes that are not alive, you know.
mhm,
It's not live, it's recorded classes for people who doesn't have a time, or people who doesn't have a routine.
mhm,
So we make brief explanations like 10 minutes, 12 minutes in maximum, explaining something,
mhm,
giving the some exercise, some things for people to do in all the stuffs, you know, like writing, reading activities, and also speaking. And we
mhm.
are going to make some text. They are going to record something and send to us, and then we are going to correct, and everything to make it remotely, you
Yes,
know.
nice.
So we've been thinking about that, and I think it's going to be the reality. So we are that's are the next step. So probably we are going to keep the physical structure
Mhm,
just for people who really don't want to make online classes, you know, people who are teacher, I didn't I didn't adapt to using this material, to this instrument, to look at the screen,
mhm,
so I prefer the presential. We are going to keep, but we are going to reduce a lot. For example, this year we've got 19 groups, 19 groups. Probably next year, presentially, we are going to work like with 6, 7 in maximum, you
mhm.
know, because it's something that is going to be, I don't know, just for the people who really want to do physically, you
Yes.
know. When you were talking about the other people, many people are adapt. For example, people from our ages and less than us,
Mhm,
we already are adapted to this. We watch YouTube all the time, yes. And now the biggest part of students who can afford an English course, for example, they are already having online classes in their regular schools,
mhm,
you know. So probably we are going to do that, and this is my hope, you know, that I can keep working remotely from
mhm.
everywhere I want. So for example, in this period, I'm not traveling for two reasons. First, because I don't have money. Second, because we are in the
It's
middle of a
not
pandemic.
possible,
Yeah,
right? Right.
exactly. So that was the problem. But if people adapt to this new system, and we got out from this pandemic, it would be amazing for me, you know, because I'm going to
Mhm.
work remotely. I can work everywhere. So I just need to have a good internet connection. And that could be a problem, but maybe I can pay for that, you know, like from these mobile structures that they have, like a very big number. Although you have to pay like 200 reais, I think
Hmm.
it worth it. It worth it, yes. If you have internet everywhere you go,
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
yeah.
And so I've been thinking about that. It's a really important. Uh, I think it's opportunity, to work with that.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I don't
This
know
friend,
if you agree with
this
me.
this friend of mine told me that in Australia they have a really good program of scholarships to PhD. So he was talking me to search that some scholarships to do my PhD there because according to him it's not that hard, for people, of course, who speak English, and it's not that hard. He told me, and his wife, she told me that she tried to stay there and get a scholarship for his major, her
Mm-hmm.
major. But she told me that for major, it's hardest because they don't have really much of interest to do that, because PhD it's more uh, it's more of a deal for them to pay people to stay there and do PhD than major.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me since I already have a major to try to do PhD there, but I didn't search that yet. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's something that we want, but it's something that we cannot do right now.
yeah, yeah, and actually I don't know. I don't have a clear project, to do a PhD. I don't know if I have a PhD in letras, in literature, and that kind of stuff, or linguistics, or if I have my PhD in communications and journalism and that kind of stuff. So I'm not thinking about that now. I convince myself that I don't have time to do that now, but I know that's not true.
Hmm.
I'm just delaying,
Yes, of course, I understand your point.
That's it. For now, I'm staying here and doing my stuff and working. But in sometime I will have to make a decision about that. And I really, really want to have a PhD abroad. I don't have to study here, not because we don't have a excellent programs of PhD here. We have in my field, we have excellent programs in another states, for example, in São Paulo or in
Or even
Paraná.
in Brasilia, yes, we have some good stuff.
Yes, yes, in UNB. But it's not because of that. It's just because, as you, I want to feel a different experiences and in cultures and that kind of stuff. So that's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's something that I really want to do. I want to
Mhm.
go there to improve my English, to improve. It's not just exactly about improving, because I think that grammatically, talking and being, uh, let's say, zero modest here, I think that grammatically my English is it's pretty satisfying,
Mhm.
because it's something that I focused a lot. I studied hard for that,
Mhm.
but I wanna be into the culture. I wanna understand the street English. How they really talk, because the movies gave us an idea, but they don't teach us exactly how to
Yes,
live,
yes,
and they don't
yes,
give us the opportunity to use, and that's the
yes,
the worst. because although I can repeat what they are saying in the movies, it's not the same thing to use naturally in a sentence, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Talking to someone, getting some friends over there. It's that what I really want. You say I don't want to live la vida loca, of course. I don't want to get crazy like working in a in on that fast food franchising. Not that I didn't like the idea. It sounds good to me because it's an experience that I can use my English a lot,
yeah,
especially if I work in the cashier or as an attendant or a
yeah,
waiter. I don't know, uh, but uh, but it's something that I really want to do. You know, say if I die before doing this, I'm gonna die very pissed
unhappy.
off. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't say unhappy because as I mentioned, and Jose Flavio is also repeating. He say our life is good. You know, my life
yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay. I am really satisfied with what I have, but we want more. Yeah, and I think
yeah,
it's not a bad thing when you want
yeah,
to improve what you have or what you do. So I think it's a great opportunity,
yeah,
and that's what I want to do. You know. So if I die before, you can know you are aware, okay, Mark, that if I die before I live outside of Brazil, before I live abroad, I'm gonna die very very pissed off. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. I know.
You know, you get the feeling, yes.
Yes, yes, I definitely.
And you know what is very difficult for me to convince my wife to go with me.
Yeah, I will try ask you that actually, because my wife, she was already more not into that, you know. In the beginning of our marriage, when I say that to her, that I have this dream, to this not dream,
This goal.
you know, yes, I have this goal, and she was like, okay, I think that it's fair, but I'm not into that right now. So when and I'm talking about that with her since we got married, since before we got married, actually. So when Bolsonaro won the election in 2018, she said to me, uh, "Let's go to another country. How you say about that?" Eu falei, when
When
and
you
where
want.
you choose and we go. And she'd like, really? Eu falei, really? Just name it. We start to do the plans and we go. And then she never talk about that anymore, because she knows that I mean. But I know that now she's less resistant to that idea, you know. But it's not a thing that we sit and plan, you know. We just talk about it, and when we are in bed to prepare to sleep or that kind of stuff, or eating. But it's not a real plan that we do. But as I said before, sometimes we have to plan that, you know, to have a decision.
Yeah, you know what I did to convince my wife.
Ah,
My argument, my plan to convince my wife, it was saying, "Oh, we are young, you know, we are able to work hard.
no children.
Uh, we don't have any children yet, you
Yeah.
know. Our parents, they are not that old and they are healthy. Yes. For example, my father is retired, your mother is retired, my mother is very young yet, and she earned some money, you know. So they don't depend of us for anything, you know. They are very independent,
Yeah.
and I don't want to live there forever. You say yes, I want to live there forever, but I don't think about that. I want to
Yeah.
go to experience another thing, to live another life, and then I want to come back because I want to make money here in Brazil with my experience. You know, when people ask me, say, did you live abroad? And I say, yes. You know, because I don't know why. This is very important for people here in Brazil. You know, doesn't matter if you are a good teacher. If you lived abroad, is enough for them. So I want to
Yeah.
say that, you know, when people ask me, say, yes, no, I not just lived abroad, but I studied abroad and I have a certification abroad. You know, that's what I want to do, you know,
Yeah.
to improve my resume and to use my resume to get more students and to capture more students and make more money. And then I can do what we have to do, that is going to another countries to spend our money, you know,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
tourist, not like an immigrant, because tourists are welcome, but immigrants are not welcome. So I don't want to be an immigrant. I want to be a tourist. But to be a tourist, I have to make money, you know?
Yeah.
And then she accepted this idea, right? So we are the problem so far is because we have the apartment and you have to pay monthly.
Yeah.
But my mother made us an offer. She said that meanwhile we lived abroad, she would live in our apartment and she would pay
All right.
the yeah. So I thought, to say, wow, that's amazing.
That's
Let's do
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
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 So it's one last thing you have to. So because of that, my wife started thinking better about this idea, right, of going abroad and uh, and living for a period, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year in the maximum, right?
Mm.
Say 1 year passes like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I am
Yeah.
29 now, so uh, we cannot wait too long for doing
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah.
I
If
am. Go
if
ahead.
I go have a PhD, for example, abroad, would take longer. It will
Yeah.
4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think my wife thinks about that, you know. But
Yeah.
as a nurse and after a pandemic, I think that she would be very welcome in anywhere, you know, because she's a healthy professional. So I don't know. That's a thing that we have to plan and talk about more.
Yeah. No, it's something that we have really have to do. With be very very careful in the steps.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Of course. For example, in my case, my parents, they also said to me, say, if things get very crazy over there, you just come back. You have the place to
yeah,
come back, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But I say it's important to get some money, yeah,
yeah,
to
yeah.
spend like some days over there not working and try to find a part-time job because it's something that can help you
Yeah.
with the
The
expenses
thing,
over there.
this friend of mine, she said his wife, it's also a friend of mine. So she said that the scholarship to do PhD in Australia is like $2,000.
Oh, so
So
it's good.
it's more than sufficient to live there, you know, because come on, it's a lot of money. Of course, it's not a thing that will swim in money, you know, but it's enough to live. To live.
Yeah, of course. And
Stuff.
as you mean, it's like also the experience you're going to have. So we
Yeah,
pay for
yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend, thank you very much for this chatting. I
Thank
hope you
you.
have an excellent day.
You
See you
too.
tomorrow, right?
All right. You can send me a link of the class we had yesterday, please.
Sure. I'm just going to up them to YouTube and I sent you.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Don't worry.
Bye.